no. Ugh. Today we will rotate the tires on the Jeep and perform a brake inspection. For today's project, we're going to need some tools. You're going to need a jack, some jack stands, a torque wrench. Hopefully you have one. I've got one from Harbor Freight that's a click type. Also a breaker bar, sockets to fit your lug nuts. I also have my little bitty impact driver to help me zip those lug nuts off quick and on quick. I also have a straight edge and a light. So I'll show you what the straight edge and the light are for when I do the brake inspection. First, we'll set the emergency brake and chock the rear wheel. We'll then break the lug nuts loose on all four wheels. The weight of the vehicle prevents the tires from moving, so that's the best time to break those lug nuts free. Unless you have a heavy-duty impact driver that's able to break those lug nuts loose up off the ground. I don't have that, so my little bitty impact is not rated where it can break that. Then we'll jack up the front of the vehicle and place jack stands under the front axle. Then we'll jack up the rear of the vehicle and place jack stands under the rear axle. So with all four tires off the ground, we'll then remove the lug nuts from each wheel. And we'll remove the wheels as we need to in order to rotate the tires safely. If you feel like it's safe enough to get all four wheels off and then rotate them, that's fine. And for my vehicle, which is a four-wheel drive vehicle all the time, or rear wheel drive, you're gonna wanna use the tire rotation pattern called rearward cross. And that's where the vehicles or the wheels that were at the rear of the vehicle will then move to the front on the same side. And then the front two tires will then be crossed to the rears. And so that is what a rearward cross is. Okay, here I've got the spacers on, as you can see, and I'm gonna have to check to make sure that they're torqued. I believe it's to 120. I've got my torque wrench set to 110, and when you do that, it'll prevent the wrench from tightening it beyond that setting. Okay, so that hasn't moved at all. So that's all good. And then what I'm gonna check for is the brake or friction materials. So when I come at it with a flat edge, I don't want to see any daylight or gaps. So I'm not sure if you can actually see that on camera, but these rotors are good and flat. And I don't see any kind of breaks or damage or leaks in the brake lines. We'll go on to the next one. There are these slots in this groove, so all you gotta do is just stick a screwdriver in there, which will prevent the wheel from turning. Now, you might want to put a strong enough screwdriver in there just in case it snaps. You don't want to put a stick in there. Here is the squealer. So there's quite a bit of room, which means there's plenty of friction material left on that brake pad. So we don't have to worry about doing brakes, at least on this side. So we're good here. So now what we're going to do is go ahead and put that rear tire on the front, and that front is going to go to the opposite side in the rear. Okay, so guys, here is, I forgot to show it to you, when I did the other tires, but the way you want to check your tires is you want to make sure that you got no bubbles on the sidewalls, which so far none of them do. And then the tread wear, you got to make sure that it's even. If you have too much tread worn on one side or the other, that's going to be an alignment issue, and that's a whole other thing. The tread wear on here is good. I don't see chunks of anything, none of the chunks of tread missing. And then the other thing is, if you don't have a tire gauge, you hear the penny trick. Well, a penny is not going to be as accurate, and so what you want to do is use a quarter. And so on the quarter itself, you'll want to make sure that you can't see the top of the head, you know, on good old George there, right? So when you put it in here, you shouldn't be able to see the top of the head at all. This wheel came off the passenger rear, so this one is going on the passenger front. And I'll take you back over here to check the condition of the brakes. Plenty of brake material or friction material left there. Squealer's a good bit of distance away from the rotor. Rotor itself looks okay. Get out the straight edge. Looking at the brake lines, everything's looking hunky-dory. I also checked the tire. Tire looks good, no bubbles, no chunks, even tread wear. I'm gonna go ahead and put that tire on and then finish up with mounting the tire that's left on the driver's side rear. Okay, so now that we got the tires rotated and the brakes inspected, we need to check under the hood also. So what we're looking for, the brake master cylinder, the brake fluid, and I don't like the color, but it's okay. It's not completely black. And I think the term is hydroscopic, but you'll want to make sure you flush and replace your brake fluid if it gets black, because it does attract water and it will get contaminated over a period of time. So my brake fluid level is in pretty good shape and the color is not that bad, but it's something that I'm going to have to eventually get done. The other thing that you want to do, you've got a good pedal. So when you step on the brake, it should not be soft. It should be pretty firm. Okay, now it gave a little because I took the cap off, and so it's under pressure. If I were to leave that cap off and do that, my brake pedal could go all the way to the floor. I could actually spill the brake fluid out of the top if I didn't have that cap on. So that is all good for now. So that's all I have. I appreciate you watching the video, and if you have any questions, just type it in the comments section below. But I would appreciate you liking and sharing, as well as subscribing. It really helps out my channel. You've heard it all before anytime you watch a YouTube video, so the same applies for me, but I do appreciate it. Thank you so much and have a terrific day.